Welcome to the Learning Lab Instructor Edition. We're here to help you with your teaching practice, whether you have questions about the National Mahjong League rules or teaching the game, and that can have to do with lesson plans or teaching methodology, or if you have questions about running a teaching practice, we're here to help. If you have questions, write them in the live stream chat, or you can write them in the comment section below the video if you're watching the repost. The format of this episode is spontaneous. We're here to answer questions from viewers. If we don't have any questions from viewers, we have a topic bank or a question bank that we can use to spark conversation and keep this value-driven and interesting and even entertaining at times. So I want to thank you for being here. Also, I want to give a shout out to our moderators for helping monitor the chat today. Say hi in the live stream chat if you like. Sandra, Beverly, Ms. Mahjong, welcome. Good to see you here. Nancy, hello. How's everyone doing on this beautiful fall day? It is officially fall, is it not? Let me know in the live stream chat how long you've been playing the game and how long you've been teaching the game. Maybe put like a number for playing with a slash and then a number for teaching. For example, I have been playing for 50 plus years. So I put 50 plus slash, and I've been teaching for 30 plus years. So 50-30 would be the answer for me. So put your number slash number, playing and teaching, just so I have an idea of your experience. Hello, Linda, welcome. This is the Learning Lab Instructor Edition. Hello, you've been, let's see, oh, you're playing 11 months and teaching for 0. So are you just getting started with teaching? Okay, Ms. Maj, 5 years playing, but new to teaching. Okay, excellent. Now, Penny, you have 1.5 years. Is that playing or teaching? Let's see. Looks like we have, oh, Beverly, okay, 10 years playing, 1 year teaching officially. All right, not family. Okay, so Penny has been playing for 1.5 years. Cheryl has been playing for 3 years and teaching for 1. Okay, so it looks like everyone is fairly new to teaching the game. Does anyone have any questions? It could be about anything, the rules. It could even be sportsmanship, strategy, skills, and then it could also be about running a teaching practice. I've been teaching, like I say, for 30 years, so I'm more than happy to share everything that I have learned from my years of experience. Hi, Linda. Playing for 8 years, teaching for 3. All right, very good. Excellent. So we have a few here with us who have some knowledge to share. Jeannie, hello. 30 years teaching 2. 30 years playing, teaching 2, not counting friends. Okay, wonderful. One thing that came up in the last 2 weeks that surprised me, well, I don't know if a surprise is the right word because I have thought about it, but someone had asked me about insurance for instructors teaching Mahjong, which is a hobby market. Most people teach in others' homes. Some people teach in their home. Some people teach in recreation centers or even restaurants, maybe libraries. And this person had asked me about whether or not they should get insurance. And for myself, I hadn't purchased insurance before because a lot of my teaching was online. I just didn't think that it was necessary. So I did a little bit of research on insurance. And first, I do want to say, full disclosure, I am not an insurance agent. I am not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. I'm not even a bookkeeper, but I do have a lot of experience running my own business for several years. So whatever I share is just from my own experience. It's not legal advice. Always get advice from a professional before you spend any money or make any decisions. That is my advice from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, or if you're just getting started, interested party. So anyway, I did a little bit of research and learned that we should have insurance. We should have some insurance. Now, if you teach online only, I would say you could probably get away with not having insurance. That's the way I did it, and I never ran into a problem. Nobody's ever sued me. Nobody's even ever had a problem with my lessons. However, I have heard of people, instructors, where players have been on their way into their home for a lesson and they tripped and fell. Now, they weren't sued, but the question has come up, what happens if someone gets injured in your home? Or what happens if someone trips and falls at a venue? That person could not only sue the venue, but they could sue you as the instructor for damages. So as I was looking into this research, I documented my findings, and I'll be happy to provide a link to this document of information that I found with resources that you can look at. And I thought it was very interesting. And the result, first of all, was I am darn glad that I got an LLC for my business. That was the first thing that I counted my blessings. Now, I don't know if you have thought about whether or not you should get an LLC or just set yourself up as a doing business as sole proprietor. If you've thought about any of that, it is best to do an LLC to protect your personal finances. And again, this is my own, based on my own experience. So that was my first blessing that I counted. And then the next thing I did is I went and bought insurance. I bought insurance for coaching because I'm going to be doing more business to business, instructor to instructor coaching. So I bought that kind of insurance, but it did make me think about it. And I do now recommend that anyone who wants to give lessons outside their home or bring people into their home, at a minimum, an LLC, and then also to consider getting business insurance. Those are two big lessons learned that I've had over the last 2 weeks. Does anybody have any comments about that or experience that they'd like to share? And again, this is not legal advice or professional insurance advice at all. This is just sharing about our experience. Oops, where did my comments go? Let me see here. I'm gonna go very quickly to my digital library and make sure that the document that I uploaded is available publicly, and I'll put the link to that in the video description below. Let's see. We have, let me see here if I can, someone's asking about the Learning Lab right now. We're just on my YouTube channel. So if you're wondering, just come here at 1 o'clock on Thursdays. And this is more, as I was sharing earlier, just a fluid, organic format. We're just gonna chit chat and talk about whatever people need, whatever questions may come up. And then of course we have that question bank that we'll be pulling up. But I had a big lesson learned in this last couple of weeks, so I thought I would share. Let me give this person asking about how to get here. Let's see, I may need to give them a link. If you go to YouTube and just type MAHJLIFE, you'll find me anytime. I'm not sure how you came to me here. Let's see here. We're gonna get back here. Oh, no, I don't do live streams on Facebook. I just use YouTube. YouTube is my home for live streams, but I do post a lot on YouTube. I post the events on Facebook, but the live streams are on YouTube. Okay, so that's handled. Now let me look and see if anybody has questions here. Okay, Beverly, your home umbrella liability insurance covers your activities. Okay, that's an excellent comment. And I do also have an umbrella liability policy, and I really didn't consider that would cover me, but I guess I'll look more closely at that. Is there a line item specifically that covers your business under that, or is it just you as a person that umbrella liability insurance covers all that? This is where it'd be good to get professional advice. And maybe what we could do is I could find industry experts to come in and do a little spotlight. So maybe sometime we could arrange to have an insurance agent come in and talk about insurance for small business. Okay, Ms. Marsh says, do you know anything about the requirements for giving money away at a league? In tournaments in Arizona where money is given away as prizes, you had talked to someone who runs a league in a different state, and she said that you should contact an attorney and find out the rules concerning that. Have you ever had any issue with that? Okay, that's a great question. And for my own experience, I've run events where we have given away prizes and I didn't even give it a second thought. We would have an entry fee and give away prizes, and it was not for profit. So I didn't think that it would be an issue, but you probably should look at maybe the lottery laws or fundraising laws. If your event is fundraising, there may be some legal implications there. So you probably would be good. It would be a good idea to talk to a lawyer, or maybe your Chamber of Commerce might be able to help as well. Let's see, for a larger class, 20 students. Okay, so let's do that one in a moment. Hi, Sylvia. Let's see. So let me just look at something really quick here to see who would be a good person to talk to about that question. We're going to do one question at a time here. A state that you need to contact an attorney about rules regarding giveaways, basically. I mean, I've even done giveaways in YouTube live streams. And as long as you have the rules of your giveaway, then you're fine. That is my understanding. Let's see here. And one moment here, my computer is taking forever. Okay. This is where I think that it'd be really smart to have insurance just in case something were to come up, just to protect you from your own ignorance. And I don't mean that to be harsh or anything, but if you don't know what you don't know. Oh my gosh, my computer is just hanging up. Okay, let me go to the next question and we'll circle back to Ms. Mahjong. Okay, so for larger class, 20 students, do you use a microphone type setup with a speaker? There will be 5 tables and there will be 3 assistants besides yourself. Let's see, so anytime I've done a class of that size, I have not used a microphone, but I have had to project. You definitely need to learn how to speak from your diaphragm. You need to use your core and your diaphragm to enunciate and to project. So when you talk, you want to make sure that your voice, first of all, you don't want to look down. You want to look up so your voice carries, but you need to speak, make sure that when you speak, people from the back of the room can hear you. And that requires some control. So you would want to make sure that you're projecting so that people can hear you. Recently, I was at an event in a restaurant and it was loud. And there were probably, let's see, maybe 30 people there. And I was standing right by them, but they were sitting, you know, all kind of nearby, tables lined up in a big, long banquet type style table. And I had to work hard to project and remind myself to lift my neck, my mouth, so that I was speaking up a little bit and projecting so people could hear me. And then I also would ask on occasion, can you hear me back there? Does anyone need me to repeat? And also, if anybody sitting down asks a question, you should repeat the question and then answer it while projecting. I hope that helps. Now, if you have the budget and you can get sound equipment, by all means, I would do that. I personally don't have sound equipment, but it is on my wish list to do. But I don't have enough knowledge to know what kind of equipment to buy. So that would be another thing to do research on. And I would just probably Google for speaker equipment, not speaker, like public speaking equipment for small business or something like that. And you probably could find some kind of equipment that you can use that you'd be able, that would be portable, because you would want to make sure that you're able to carry it without too much trouble. Okay, so let's see. Let me see if my computer's back up. It's not. What is going on? Okay, so let's see. Ms. Maj, further talking about doing giveaways and if there are any legal implications or maybe you need to get a permit or something like that. This is what two women in Arizona said, that they never considered it. Only the other woman in a different state made you worried about giving a monetary prize. I know a lot of people who give away money for prizes, and I've done it myself without any concern at all, especially if I'm not taking a profit from it. So I would run an event where any of the money coming in paid for the refreshments, food, and prizes, and I didn't take anything home. So it was a not-for-profit event. So there's that part of it that you could consider, but definitely contact your Chamber of Commerce. I'm trying to get to good old ChatGPT, but for some reason it's hanging up. Okay, if I were to run an event, can I give away prizes, even cash prizes? Are there legalities I need to consider? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Now, we don't want to rely on ChatGPT for legal advice either, but it just gives you a place to start. Okay, so ChatGPT says the answer is it depends. Okay, so let's wait until ChatGPT answers, but I've got an answer for you. And then I'll kind of season it with my own experience, of course, as well. So far, it looks like some of the things that I have researched in the past. All right. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so hold on. It's still chunking away here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to read because this gave me some really great information to get you started. Okay, there's a difference between running a fun community event, where prizes are incidental and running something that legally qualifies as gambling or a lottery. For example, if you do a raffle. If you do a raffle, that goes into where you need some kind of legal support. You would probably need to get a permit for that. So here are the main considerations. First of all, cash prizes versus merchandise prizes. Merchandise and gift cards, non-cash or symbolic prizes are usually simpler because they're considered giveaways. Cash prizes can change the legal character of the event. If participants pay to play, meaning they make an entry fee or a donation ticket, awarding cash prizes may be treated as gambling under state laws. So you would want to look at your state laws to see what those are, because you're going to need to abide by those. The second point here is entry fees, donations, and eligibility. If people must pay or donate to participate and there's a prize involved, you're potentially running a lottery. Oh my gosh, I just ran a fundraiser last night. And it was a fundraiser going to St. Jude. There was no entry fee, but people made donations. And people who didn't make donations could play as well. So there's no differentiator. Lotteries are heavily regulated and often restricted to state government or certain nonprofits. If the event is free to enter or people can participate without donating, you're usually safer. It falls under sweepstakes or contests, which have clear rules. So then we go down to skill versus chance. And incidentally, Mahjong is a skill-based game, even though there is a little bit of chance involved with the tiles you get from the wall or from the Charleston. It is a contest of skill more so than chance. Also, again, state and local laws, you definitely want to check on that. And then there are tax and reporting obligations. So if you are taking money home, then you're going to need to report that as income. And if it is a not-for-profit event, then you don't need to worry about it. But if you are, actually, this does say that you need to report winnings for withholding purposes if cash is involved. Practical takeaway: if you're just giving away fun door prizes or donated merchandise, you're usually fine. And that's what my event last night was. If you want to award cash prizes tied to entry fees, you should check with your state's gambling and sweepstakes laws or consult an attorney, because that's where it can cross into regulated territory. A common workaround to the events is no purchase necessary, free entry option, and merchandise gift card prizes rather than cash. So I will copy this content and make it available in a document through a link in the video description below for anybody who is interested watching the repost. And then anybody in the event now, you can look in that video description later and you can download what I'm reading here. And I'll make sure that it is from ChatGPT, so you know this is not from me, it's from a search through ChatGPT. So per ChatGPT. Okay, so there's that. That is a good question, because I know a lot of people run events and give away prizes, and I don't think a lot of people consider whether or not there are legal implications. Yeah, each state can be different. Absolutely. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions? I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about anything: running your business, teaching the game itself, even rules. I'll give you a minute just to comment below. So let's see, one of the things I was going to do is talk about the insurance document that I uploaded just a few days ago. Sylvia, I think you were looking at that document. Were you able to read it? And what did you think about it? Was it helpful? Let's see if this is visible to the public. I do have it protected. Let me just get that available here. Oh, it wasn't you? Okay, who asked me about that? Somebody asked me about that. Okay, for some reason I thought it was you. All right, let's see here. Oh, digital library, I have it. I'm just going to put it real quick under uncategorized. So let's see if I can view this and then I'll share it with you. Oh, shoot, that was the wrong one. Okay, whatever, that's fine. This is the one I wanted. I see. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. Let's see here. Anybody else want to ask any questions about your teaching practice? Rules, sportsmanship, etiquette, skills, strategies, teaching practice. That's why we're here. Oh, incidentally, if you don't know, the Learning Lab is part of the MAHJLIFE Instructor Guild service offering. This is a private Facebook group. Not everybody uses Facebook, so I thought we need to have another opportunity for people who don't use social media. So I wanted to make this available to the public, both public and MAHJLIFE instructors in the guild. So if you join the guild, you'll have access to the Learning Lab where you can practice your teacher's voice. And then in addition to that, you get access to the Nexus, which is a private Facebook group for Mahjong instructors where you can post to get feedback on ideas, to get critique on marketing content, or maybe even your website, and to get peer support. So there are a lot of services that you can leverage by joining the guild. So I highly recommend, if you're an instructor, consider joining the guild for more support like this. So let me now go back here, and I'm going to, let's see if I can get this uploaded so I can make sure. Oh, I know what I could do. I'll just make a note to add this as a link to the video description. Upload insurance document and share in Okay, so I will definitely do that. Look in the video description below after the event. Give me like an hour to get everything set up for these two things that we talked about today. And then, of course, if we talk about anything else, we'll add to that list. So far, we'll have a link to an insurance sort of one sheet with resources and information about whether or not you should get insurance for what you do. And then the second one is about giveaways, about legal implications for giveaways. All right. No other questions? Okay. So we have a whole half an hour. So I would love to talk about some other things that would be helpful to anyone who's here. And I have, let me see, I have 7 categories. So maybe what we could do is quickly choose a category and then pick a topic to discuss. What do you think? Unless someone else has another question. I did notice, Beverly, you mentioned that you use a TV and PowerPoint slideshow when you have a large class, but what do you do in regards to making sure people can hear you? Do you use a mic or do you just try to project? Let me see if I've missed any other questions here. I don't think I have missed anything. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. So here are some topics or categories. We have event planning, finance, marketing, operations, self-care, teaching, and technology. Did any of those resonate for you? And if any of those categories resonate with you, put it in the chat and then we'll take kind of a majority rules. Since we talked about insurance and also legalities, maybe operations would be a good tie-in, but I'll wait and see what other people think. If I were attending, I think I would want to do that. Okay, let's see. Let's Singer Marine, you're a newbie. Please explain the app or website you use for live stream shows. Okay. Oh, Kathy. Okay. Are you talking about this broadcast system that I use right now? Is that what you're referring to? Or are you talking about or asking about what game platform do I use? It really is part of the same thing, really. Okay. Sylvia wants to talk about event planning. Okay. Let's see, did I have event plan? Oh yeah, that was the first one in here. Let me get this question. Okay, what game platform. What game platform do I use? Okay, so I use two different game platforms for specific reasons. I use I Love Maj for my beginner live streams because they have a fantastic skill building, what do they call it? Exercise room. They have an exercise room with skill building features that are very helpful. So I use that for beginners. And then I also use Mahjong Time for advanced live streams. And the reason I do that is because Mahjong Time has scattered discards like we play in real life. And when I teach advanced topics, skills and strategies, I want it to be as lifelike as possible. And a lot of playing the game at a deeper level requires hand reading. And if you're going to do hand reading, you need to learn how to look for the tiles you need that are down and watch the discards. Who is discarding what? You got to know that. Those are some of the variables that you need to know in order to make good decisions. So with Mahjong Time being the only platform with scattered discards, that's where I go. That's my go-to. So Mahjong Time or I Love Maj. And you can find both of those and information about both of those on my website at MAHJLIFE.com. If you go to About and then Mahjong, you'll see both I Love Maj and Mahjong Time. Let me just double check and make sure that is the path. Yeah, home, Mahjong, and you hover over Mahjong and you'll see I Love Maj and Mahjong Time. Those are the two that I use and highly recommend. I hope that's helpful. Okay, so let me, nobody else recommended a topic. So I'm going to go ahead and look at event planning, the event planning topics here. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. Happy to help. If you'd like to know more about it, let's see here. I can do this one really easily. There's the link for I Love Maj, and here's the link for Mahjong Time. So, oops, there's a couple links for you. Both of those are very helpful. And then you can use Zoom as your broadcast vehicle or your broadcast system, because you got to be a way, there's got to be a way for you to share your screen or have somebody, an attendee, share their screen. And I've used Zoom and also this platform that I'm on right now, which is called StreamYard. So use Zoom or another broadcast system like StreamYard. Now you're going to, with StreamYard, you could even do it for free, but there are some limitations. I believe you can only do like 4 hours of streaming or broadcasting, and then you got to delete them. So there are some limitations, but you can use StreamYard for free, and it's pretty intuitive. And then Zoom, you would need to do a paid subscription. So look into StreamYard for a cost saver. And I think that it is relatively easy to learn, short learning curve. You can find tutorials on YouTube if you just type in StreamYard. And it integrates with YouTube. So when you go live on StreamYard, it is you can connect it directly to YouTube. So this is broadcasting on my YouTube channel. And when I'm done, it'll just stay there. I don't have to do any editing or anything. I go live and it's all streamed and recorded automatically by YouTube and reposts within an hour. So that'll be content that people can watch later. So you don't have to attend the live stream. You can watch the repost using this system. I find it very, very helpful. And there are some other things that you can do to for branding that I do that's a little more complicated. For example, I do a pre-show where I upload a short video. It's like 3 minutes long, and I go live 3 minutes before my time of when I schedule the live stream. So I'm there and I run the pre-show. It's just a button that you click once you upload the video, and it runs it. And then when that's over, you go live and you're there. So then I do the same thing at the end. I have what I call an outro. And this is another short video or slideshow or whatever it is that you record. You then upload that, and then you press that to go live or to run right after you sign off. So you say, thank you for coming. Come back again next week when we discuss blah, blah, blah. And I always say, may all your picks be keepers. And then I press the outro. So there's an intro or a pre-show and then an outro, and it packages it with my branding. And that way I don't have to do any editing. It just captures me live, and then people can watch it at their convenience. So it's wonderful. It's really been a time saver and a lifesaver, especially this work-life balance saver. Let's see, you had to step away, but you'll definitely be watching the replay. Okay, good. All right, very good. So now let's talk about event planning. Sylvia wanted to talk about event planning. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We have about 4 different subtopics. We have collaboration, logistics, promotions, and venue. Do any of those sound good to you, Sylvia? Collaboration, logistics, promotions, and venue. And then I'll just randomly pick something, and this is going to be interactive. So I'm going to need everybody to share. I'm more than happy to share my thoughts, but the whole idea here is interactivity. Hello, Sophie. Welcome to the Learning Lab Instructor Edition. Sophie, do you teach people how to play the game? Now, Sophie is, okay, Sylvie says promotion and venue. Okay, let me see if I can find a good one here then. Let's see. Okay, so I found one good one for venue. Maybe we could do both. And then let me just quickly look at the one for promotions. Oh my gosh, I feel like I need, let me try and get this up here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, I have one for promotion and one for venue, and they kind of tie in together. So this will be good. Okay. And we're going to kind of do the cart before the horse so that it'll tie right one into the other. Let me see here. Miss Oh, let's see. Sophie says mostly because the people of Hong Kong Mahjong aren't as interested. Oh, but you do teach though, right? Only Hong Kong and Ricci. So you teach. When you teach, where do you teach? Do you teach out of your home or do you teach in a public space? That's what we're going into right now is on event planning. So we talked a little bit earlier about insurance and whether or not you should have insurance. And these rules might be different in the United States and in your own country if you're watching internationally. And we also talked about giveaways and how to make sure that you're following the regulations if there are any in your area. Always check with your city government or wherever it is that you reside. Make sure you check with your local government for that. You teach in your local Ricci venue during certain events. Okay, wonderful. Okay. So now, and they probably do all their own marketing to get people to your events, Sophie? Or do you have to do marketing to get people there? It's interesting. Sophie's in Hong Kong, so it'd be interesting to see. Oh yeah, 100% can't do giveaways in Hong Kong. The laws are strict enough that you don't dare look into it. Okay, that makes sense. They're your events at a local community. Okay. All right, so I'm going to now bring up two questions or two topics that we can discuss. The first one is on promotions, and we should have time to go into both of these. One is promoting and filling seats for events. That's the first one. Promoting and filling seats for events. So how do you do that? How do you promote your event? And how do you fill seats for them? And they kind of tie in together. So does anybody want to share about the tools that they use to promote and fill seats at events? I've done it several ways myself. I'll go ahead and, since nobody is chiming in, I'll go ahead and share what I've done in my career as an instructor. For the most part, lately, I've been supporting instructors, so I haven't been doing lessons much, but I've done years and years of lessons. So I have a lot to share about previous experience, but let's see, your events are for the local queer community, so that's where you advertise. Okay, awesome. Okay, so what I've done in the past is I've leveraged technology, and I've also done the paper route. And I must say that leveraging technology has far better results than using paper. And not only that, but I like to save trees. I prefer not to go the paper route. Years ago, I decided to try to eliminate as much paper use as possible. So when I very first started doing lessons out of my, there was like a common space in my, I was at the time I lived in an apartment complex, and there was a common area, and I would do lessons in the common area. So I put up a flyer, paper flyer, and it was called a tear sheet. So at the top was what it is, come and learn American Mahjong. And then at the bottom, I cut slits of paper. So I pre-cut upwards. So all people would need to do was tear off a piece of that, and on each little piece that I would cut apart from the others, but leave it attached at the top. So it'd be kind of like there was fringe on the bottom of the paper, and they would tear a piece off with my name and phone number and email. So I had a tear sheet, and that's how I did it when I very first started with a group that I wanted to run. And I did lessons that way. So I put up a tear sheet in the community center, that common space. And I also put a tear sheet at the closest supermarket. And that's it. And that's how I got started. But I didn't get very many results from that. So I decided, okay, I need to go the tech route. So I invested in a subscription through Meetup, and Meetup was fantastic. Meetup, even though there's a cost and it is a bit expensive, but there are ways around that. But if you use a system like Meetup, where you can leverage their technology, they can do the marketing for you. It's kind of a done for you system. You prepare, and I have a video on how to run a meetup, including how to set it up and how to get yourself ready to publish information about the events that you're going to be running. So I had an about page that was player friendly, that was welcoming to people and explained how the events were going to be run. I even created a charter where it listed out all the different expectations from anyone who wanted to attend my events. So I leveraged Meetup, and I charged a membership. So anytime someone would join, they needed to pay $24 per year. $24 per year. That's $2 a month. And that membership fee helped me cover the subscription costs, so I didn't have to fork out the money myself, because I was at the time running a not-for-profit group. So it all just kind of paid for itself, and any money left over at the end of the year, I would do a party, and we would spend all the money on food and drink, and we would do prizes and things like that. So that's how I did it. And I leveraged the technology that was available, or those features, through Meetup, and people found me. I didn't have to do hardly anything except show up once I got everything in there. So I'd say Meetup. You can also use something like Eventbrite, and you could even use Facebook group, not page, but group. You can use Facebook group and the event feature. That might be a way to also advertise about your group. The thing about Facebook is not everybody uses it. So you're only going to get a segment of your community, because not everybody uses social media. So I think Meetup is the best way to go, or Eventbrite or something like that. With Eventbrite, though, you have to create a different event, I believe, for each instance. I don't know if they have recurring events, but with Meetup, you've got a lot more features. So that's what I would highly recommend. And that's how I filled my seats, through Meetup. Does anybody else want to share about what they've used? Let me see here. Printing out flyers, posting ads on social media. Oh, are all disallowed? Do you mean like in other people's groups? Creating posts in other people's groups? Is that what you're referring or asking about, Sophie? Because a lot of groups won't allow outside advertising. In my own group, I don't, because I'm running a business. So any promotions that go on, any events that go on, I need to be part of it, because it's my Facebook group. It's my business Facebook group. So a lot of Facebook groups do have limits and rules. If you want to run a not-for-profit teaching practice or event service, you should start your own Facebook group so you can freely post your events. And there's a way for you to make yourself known in the community, and that's by participating in other groups that are related, because we're all going to share the same customer base, the same interested people, the same ideal client. So you make yourself known by participating and offer support and value, and people get to know you, and then they follow you organically, come to your Facebook group to get to know more about you. And that's how you get started. It's a long game. So you got to be prepared and be patient. And also your marketing, your brand identity is going to matter as well, because you want to make sure that you differentiate yourself from other people, especially with this latest surge in the interest of the game. Let's see, your local community meetup account. So it's free for you. Oh, good. You're not talking about a specific, scroll up. Okay. I think I did catch what you had said before. Okay, so does anybody have any other comments about how they promote and fill seats? Another thing you can do for promotions is collaborate. Work with another instructor or event planner or event organizer in your area with the same client, or maybe a segment or something that you can where you can piggyback off of uh, with your shared clients, and then host an event together. That would be another good way to fill seats for events. Okay, so we can talk about well, we're talking about filling seats. So one annoying thing is dealing with odd numbers of players. So Mahjong is a 4-player game, but you can play the game with 3 and even 2. There are ways to play Mahjong with 2. It's not ideal, and most people prefer to play with 4, but you can do a player rotation. As far as filling seats, if you one of the skills that you'll need to build as an event host is how to manage the experience when people are coming to your events. You want to make sure that you have some kind of a player rotation, not just because you might have uh, an imperfect number of attendees where you don't have full tables, but also where you can avoid any uh, interpersonal challenges with clicks. Because what can happen if you don't have a rotation is people will develop clicks, and that marginalizes others. So by doing and establishing a system where your attendees know that there's going to be a rotation, everybody will get to know everybody else, and relationship building can happen fully, as opposed to people wanting to play with just their people. That's not ideal, because it can create some some conflict and tension. So I highly recommend that regardless of the number of people that you have coming, that you establish some kind of player rotation. And usually after 4 games, East gets up and rotates to a different table. That's a very common rotation that you can do. Let me see. Well, my understanding, Sophie, is that in Asian versions, you can play with fewer than 4 players. You just remove a suit, 2 through 8. It's not ideal, just like with American Mahjong, it's not ideal. The ideal number is 4, but there are workarounds. Let's see, you have a few people you contact in case attendees drop out. Yes, that's another thing you could do, is have alternates. So if you are a host, you're probably going to be playing as well. But if you have assistants, perhaps, and this is something that one of the groups that I've participated in, they run a local group in my area. They do a fantastic job. So in this group, they have 5 or 6 different organizers, and they take turns leading different events. So if they are assigned an event, the other hosts are there as players, but they're more than willing to fill in and be a floater or what have you as a backup. But that's one way you could do it, is just have a team where that team will be there as alternates to fill in seats or help organize and facilitate the event. So that's another thing that you can do. Oh, okay, I see, Sophie. I've done that before and it was fine. It was an okay experience. Again, not ideal. Okay, so now we've talked about promoting. I hope you found that helpful. The next thing we're going to talk about is the venue. Going to event, or finding a venue to either teach or hold events, lessons, both lessons and drop-in games or open play with coaching, how to find venues. And there are a lot of ways to do that. In my experience, I have my favorite place to play is at sports bars. And what I did to find a good sports bar is I would just go in there and look for tables that would be good for mahjong, which is called a four top. So it's basically a square table where you would have enough room for the game and maybe a drink on the corner. Personally, I don't like anything on the table. I would put my drink on a chair to my right or on the floor, and that way the table would be clear. But you want to make sure that you have a good sized table where people can reach the tiles. So it shouldn't be too big where people can't, they have to stand up to pick their tile. You don't want a table that big. You want a four top, which is a little bit bigger than a standard card table. So like 42 inches square or something like that. I think it's 38 to 42 inches square, I think is the ideal size for a mahjong table. So you want to make sure that they have a table like that and they have plenty of chairs. And then you meet with the manager. And I go in with a mahjong set and a business card, of course, some kind of business card, or you can use your smartphone with a digital version of that. And then you introduce yourself and ask if you would be able to bring in a group of players where you would come and have lunch. So you would spend money so that you're showing good faith to use their space. So it's a win-win. You go in, you buy lunch, and then you play for several hours. So you'd want to make sure that that would be okay with the venue, because their whole purpose is to turn over tables. So they always want people coming in and moving on so more people could come in and eat. Not every venue is going to want to do that for you. If you're going to a restaurant or like, for example, a sports bar or deli or something like that. So you definitely want to meet with the management, some kind of a decision maker there, bring in your mahjong set and explain what you're doing. Then also make sure that you mention whether or not you play for money and get their permission. If they do not, if it's a sports bar and you play for money, even though mahjong, it's not considered gambling in most places, you could affect their liquor license. So if you play in a sports bar, you probably should settle up outside, maybe play with chips instead of coins and dollars, or you could just not play for money at all and just play for kudos. So you would want to make that part of the conversation as well. So I like playing in sports bars myself. And then I know a lot of people play in or do lessons in restaurants and sports bars if they have a back room, and you would do the same thing there. You could also teach in libraries. Libraries welcome mahjong. It's typically a quiet game. It doesn't get too awful loud, but a lot of times they have space for games. So you could go in there with your set and introduce yourself and ask if they have space for you at a library. I've also heard that there are some cities where cities have workspace for small business owners. So you might even be able to go into your city chamber of commerce and ask if they have space for use for small business owners, and you could potentially use that. The next thing is a trend that I just want to share, and this is where you go into boutiques. A boutique, small business owner, not a chain, just someone who rents that little space with art or tchotchkes or artisan goods, even a bakery or something like that, cafes, those types of things where it is just owned and run by an individual, sole proprietor, just a sole business person, and they could open up their space for your lessons or drop-in games, or even play with coaching. So you would go in there and introduce yourself, bring in your mahjong set and ask if you can use their space, and work out some kind of a collaboration where they would get some kind of marketing benefit, or maybe your attendees would shop in their space and purchase goods from them. So there's some kind of a win-win arrangement there. So game stores are really good as well. A lot of times, though, game stores have long, narrow tables, and you have to sit at an angle. It's not ideal, but if they have a foretop, then go for it. So just make sure they have the right kind of tables. Game stores, cafes, and then boutiques. And one time I went to a furniture store in my area. They had where there were booths all around in this big open space, and they renovated like a warehouse, and there were all these open space booths that you would go into, one right after the other, but they had this open space with a little cafeteria, or kind of like drinks and snacks, and we just played right there, and it was a furniture store. So it's kind of interesting. Just look for those types of places where they have space and come up with some kind of a collaboration that you can make with them. So I've had great experience as both an attendee and also as a host by going to all these places. I hope that helps, Sophie. Not Sophie, I'm sorry, Sylvia. Let me know if all those suggestions help. And if anybody has other suggestions, maybe you're watching the repost and you've had good experiences in other types of venues, write it in the comment section below so that we can all share the experiences with each other and maybe give some new things a try. Let's see. Sophie says that you live in a large city. There's a chance there's a mahjong parlor or studio near you. New York City has Sparrow's Nest Studio. Yeah, mahjong parlor, as it were, where the space is provided by a mahjong enthusiast. So they're there with tables and whatnot that are ideal for mahjong. So yeah, that's fantastic. And I think that with the surge in interest with mahjong, that these are popping up more and more, but they're still far and few between here. All right, well, we're just a little past the top of the hour. I hope that you found this session helpful. We're going to be back again every Thursday from 1 to 2 for the Learning Lab Instructor Edition, and we'll do more of the same. And the format may change a little bit, but we'll always be here to answer questions about the game, about teaching, about methodologies, about running a teaching practice. So we'll talk about operations as well. Whoever has a need, we're here to help. That's the whole purpose of this particular format. If people don't have questions, we'll go to the question bank. And maybe we'll even do some book reviews and things like that. I have a book here that I just finished reading. I'd love to share about it. So we might even do some things like that. It's going to be just an open space for instructors. So if you know some other instructors, please share about this opportunity with them and encourage them to come and join us on Thursdays from 1 to 2 for a lively discussion. Which book? Overcoming the Imposter Syndrome. That's the one that I just finished. And you can see I've got a lot of flags. So clearly it resonated with me. So, and I have gotten some questions from instructors who have suffered from the dreaded imposter syndrome. So yes, let's see. No, this is more about teaching, being a small business owner. The struggles and challenges with running a teaching practice. And that it's not just about mahjong. It could be about running a teaching practice, whether it's not for profit or for profit. It doesn't have to be about making money. It's all the ins and outs of sharing the game, which includes logistics. So anyway, I hope you'll be back and that you'll join me. And if you have any questions about it or have ideas for this session, please feel free to look for my email in the video description below and send me an email. I'd be happy to hear your suggestions. I am open to input. And again, we'll be back 1 to 2 on Thursdays. Thank you so much for joining me today. Moderators, thank you for helping monitor the chat. We'll see you again next week. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.